Hi guys, today's class Middlemarch by George Eliot. George Eliot was an English novelist writing in the mid-19th century, and before we go any further, we should let you know that Eliot was a woman. Don't let the name fool you, it was just a pen name, because she didn't think that female novelists were taken seriously as an artist. Her real name was Marian, or Mary Ann. She spelled it both ways, Evans. Marriage. Most characters in Middlemarch marry for love rather than obligation, yet marriage still appears negative and unromantic. Marriage and the pursuit of it are central concerns in Middlemarch. But unlike in many novels of the time, marriage is not considered the ultimate source of happiness. Two examples are the failed marriage of Dorothea and Lydgate. Dorothy's marriage fails because of her youth and of her disillusion about marrying a much older man, while Lydgate's marriage fails because of irreconcilable personality. As none of the marriage reach a perfect fairy tale ending, Middlemarch offers a clear critique of the usual portrait of marriage as romantic and unproblematic. Poor Lydgate, or shall I say, poor Rosamond, each lived in a world of which the other knew nothing. This passage pretty much sums up the reason why marriage fails in the world of Middlemarch. The two people don't understand each other at all, and the narrator tries to assure us that neither is to blame more than the other. She says both, poor Lydgate and poor Rosamond. It's not a question of fault, it's just unfortunate, almost tragic. A woman dictates before marriage, in order that she may have an appetite for submission afterwards. The narrator makes this remark about marriage early on the novel, shortly before Dorothea marries Mr. Casaubon. The command is probably meant to be read ironically. Do we really think that George Eliot believed that women should be submissive after marriage? Probably not, but that's the way society expected a wife to behave. So in this brief, almost throwaway remark, Eliot makes a huge ironic commentary on the social expectations of wife. Marriage, like religion and erudition, nay, like authorship itself, was fated to become an outward requirement. Part of why Casaubon is so unhappy is that he is not passionate about anything. He is very wrapped up in doing the right thing, but doesn't care deeply about any of his work anymore. His religion, his scholarship, and the book he's writing are all just things that other people expect of him, not things that he's passionate about. And the saddest part is that his marriage is rapidly falling into the same category. Marriage is a Middlemarch's beginning, not an ending. And Eliot takes great pains to show that there are choices that allow for new beginnings even after the marriage takes place. Women and femininity. A major theme in George Eliot's novel, Middlemarch, is the role of women in the community. The female characters in the novel are, to some extent, oppressed by the social expectations that prevail in Middlemarch. Regardless of social standing, character, or personality, women are expected to cater to and remain dependent on their husbands and to occupy themselves with trivial recreation rather than important household matters. Dorothea and Rosamond, though exceedingly dissimilar, are both subjected to the same social ideas of what women should be. The gentleman's oppressive liberty. This phrase sums up the position of upper-class women during the period. They were at liberty to do whatever they wanted, since all their basic needs were created by to by servants, but it was an oppressive liberty. They were trapped by social conventions that limited their activities. So even though they were at liberty, it was a severely limited, oppressively liberty. The duties of your marriage life, contemplated as so great beforehand, seemed to be shrinking with the furniture and white vapor-walled landscape. This passage shows how frustrating married life could be for intelligent women during this period. Even intelligent, capable women like Dorothea were expected to limit themselves to the conventional role of wife and mother. Dorothea is full of passion and energy, but there is nothing for her to do. Her world seems to be shrinking around her, turning from a vast landscape of possibilities to a small, white vapor-walled room filled with Victoria furniture. The title of the novel is the name of the town, which is hint that this isn't a novel about one or two individuals. It's a novel about the entire society of this small town and the surrounding area. Eliot is interested in showing how the relationships between different people have large and small effects on everything around them. The society of Middlemarch is like an intricate web of relationships, and it's hard to put any one person or group at the center of that web. The huge social web that Eliot develops in Middlemarch consists almost entirely of members of the upper middle class. Eliot is more interested in showing the intricacies of social relationship within the same class, and she is demonstrating the relationships across a more vertical cross-section of society. But anyone watching keenly the stately convergence of human lost sees a low preparation of effects from the one of life another, which tells like a calculated irony on the indifference or the frozen stare with which we look at our unintroduced neighbor. Destiny stands by sarcastic, with our dramatic personage folded in her hand. The narrative reflects on the development of important relationships between people. When you see someone for the first time, you have no idea whether they will play an important role in your life or not. You might feel indifferent towards your unintroduced neighbor at first, only to find a few weeks or months or years down the line that they will have a very important effect on your life. Our dramatic personage is the cost of character in our own life, which destiny decides. Middlemarch is deservedly considered a classic and an exemplar of an art of the novel. Eliot takes on an immense amount thematically, does much of it justice, and somehow manages to balance broad issues within depth, affecting in authentic portraits of captivating arrays of character, while the central and some peripheral characters serve the further Eliot's interest in social, political, gender, scientific and religious issues. All figures throughout the novel are etched and believable human being, not just as one-dimensional symbol serving some more general purposes. There are no black and white heroes, heroines, or villains, but all are presented as well-rounded individuals with strengths, weakness, and hobbies. The chapter describes how incendiary gossiping about two prominent figures spreads through the community and evolves into fact as a tour de force of plot momentum. Acerbic, brilliant, and exhilarating to read. In other words, Eliot's mastery of theme and character do not all mean that she gives plot short